Hi guys and girls, I'm Obsidian Ant and welcome back to Elite Dangerous. Today I want to talk a little bit about some news just released by Frontier about the next update, Odyssey. Now there's high anticipation for the update, of course. It looks to be very interesting. Many people have been waiting for space legs and potentially atmospheric planets as well, as that looks to be in the game. The big question has been though whether or not it will support VR. So Frontier today have stated that no, Odyssey will not support virtual reality when it launches. The implication behind that is that VR support may come further down the line, but personally I have my doubts about that, but we'll get into the reasons for that in just a few minutes. Before that though, let's have a look at Frontier's official answer. Let's get it word for word so there's no misunderstanding here. So, is Elite Dangerous Odyssey coming to VR? Currently, Elite Dangerous Odyssey will not be VR compatible at launch. We're big fans of VR and we are truly proud of the amazing experience that we currently offer in Elite Dangerous. However, the new gameplay, mechanics and features that will be introduced with Elite Dangerous Odyssey means that we had to re-examine if we could deliver that same experience without compromise, which for launch means Odyssey will not be VR compatible. And moving on to a related comment they posted a little later, VR will still be compatible with the base game and Horizons. So this in itself would suggest that the base game and Horizons will still be going on and it will exist side by side with Odyssey. So the VR news then is very disappointing. I know a lot of people are big fans of VR out there. I myself am also a huge fan of it, as many of you will no doubt know. But for me it's hardly surprising. The move from a seated VR experience to a fully motion VR experience where you're actually walking around is a big leap, and it's something that games are only just starting to get to grips with. So yeah, I can fully understand Frontier's explanation here. If they've got a bunch of mechanics in the game, in addition to new forms of motion such as walking around or flying around with jetpacks, how do you actually translate that between using a mouse and keyboard as well as using VR? There's not many good examples of games out there that actually achieve both. No Man's Sky actually does it, but very few others. Now, just to clarify my point there a bit, that's not to say that VR hasn't come a long way, especially with locomotion. Half-Life Alyx is an amazing experience, no doubt one of the best VR games out there. Boneworks is also very good, as is Asgard's Wrath, and going back a little bit further, Lone Echo is also very good. There's many other titles out there for VR that are also great as well. But the thing is, these are all exclusive VR titles. And to build on that point a little bit, Half-Life Alyx is absolutely constructed from the ground up to be a virtual reality experience. Everything you do, from the combat to the way you interact with objects and items, not to mention the inventory space as well, is connected with VR. Now, if Valve wanted to make this a fully mouse-keyboard experience, it would turn it into a very different game. Now, I do appreciate there is a mod out there that makes Half-Life Alyx compatible with mouse and keyboard, but it's not really the same experience. It's not really a full mouse and keyboard game, and therein lies the exact problem. How do Frontier translate a game that is ostensibly a mouse and keyboard focused motion game, FPS, with the many mechanics that they are implying are going to be in it, with a virtual reality experience? In short, you'd need to develop two completely different forms of locomotion, two completely different forms of interface, and have them be compatible with each other as well as balanced with each other. It's a very different situation to what we're currently faced with. The seated VR experience when you're controlling a spaceship is a lot easier to translate to a mouse and keyboard, as is a flight sim or a racing sim. You can actually translate those to VR because the player isn't physically moving around, they're actually moving around inside the vehicle. So I really don't envy Frontier on this one. It's a difficult decision, no doubt, but it really leaves us in a difficult position as well. No Man's Sky has proven that it can be done, although personally I don't feel that No Man's Sky is a particularly great VR experience. It's a nice one, but far from perfect. Ultimately then, the current situation leaves me feeling that just maybe VR will never arrive for Odyssey. After all, don't forget that Frontier also said that PlayStation VR will not be in for launch with the PlayStation 4 version of the game when that released, and here we are many years later and it never made it at all, did it? But it's still reasonable to take Frontier at their word on this. It's not in at launch, the implication being that just maybe it will arrive later. So really that's just my thoughts and feelings on VR as it stands with Odyssey, Basically saying that yes, I'm completely disappointed, like many other people no doubt will be, but I also can see why it's perhaps not in there. And personally, I would rather no VR experience than a poor one. I've said that many times before. Moving on then to a completely different subject, this is another bit of information that Frontier released today. They were asked the question, will there be base building in Elite Dangerous Odyssey? Their answer, base building is not currently on the roadmap for Elite Dangerous. However, we have plenty of new features planned instead, such as on-foot exploration, new planetary tech, social hubs, combat, as well as more to be shared later on. We're looking to put our best foot forward with Odyssey, and if you'd like an overview of what to expect, you can check out our website or our Steam page. There we have it then, officially no base building in Odyssey. But that's not to say there won't be bases in any form. After all, the concept art that you've seen in this video, well, that does show bases and various forms of different buildings and structures. One of these perhaps could still be player owned, who knows. But that then brings us to an end of this video. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys and girls next time.